What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all staying healthy and having a great day. I know I said I was going to save this for another video, so that's what I'm doing. I'm still here monitoring this entire situation. I want to make sure that it stays stable. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to shut down this rig, because this rig is getting a little hotter than I would like on the floor, especially with this configuration. This Vetaframe is just pumping cards forward and up. It's the only way I can make these PCIe cables reach. So that's why it's in this configuration. But I need to take this apart. I need to put it right there in the middle shelf on the right hand side, and I need to take these cards in the middle, the 1660 Ti amped rig, and slide them over basically underneath and above this rig right here. That way each of these rigs, this one and that one, will both have separate air intakes directly behind them, which is obviously huge. I did bring some more hangers, and I actually brought some Monster Rack motherboard clips. I had Mr. Baldini design me some large motherboard mounts, so they'll snap right onto these racks. I can put the motherboard here. I had him design me some server PSU clips as well, so I can, you know, pinch the server PSU in place right on either side of the motherboard. And then we have a couple standoffs that will also snap onto this rack and hold up the motherboard on the other side where the holes don't line up, because obviously wire racks aren't made for motherboards and the holes don't always line up. So that's what those bigger blocks are for. So first point of attack, like I said, I need to shut this down, but I don't think, you know what, I'm not going to do that first. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to shut this one down, because I want to be able to take this basically and just slide the entire thing over. And I think I'm going to use this as the guinea pig, ripping apart the actual board right there off of this frame and getting that board mounted right there on the rack. So give me a minute, let me get this thing disassembled, slid over, shut down, and you guys will see this entire thing in placement over there in just a second. There it is. It's kind of a pain in the butt, not gonna lie, having to move everything like 3 rungs at a time, hold the motherboard while I was doing it. It was kind of a pain. So either way, as you can see, we get the motherboard on all the standoffs. Basically the standoffs just go directly through the board and then right to the wire, and then the ones that don't line up with a hole just stay under it to support it. As you can see right here on this one, we have the server PSU L brackets just to kind of hold it in place. And while I was putting these on, I actually realized if I put them in at like a 45-degree angle, so like the tight part is actually still on the end of the wire, it really pinches this thing in place. So that's pretty nice. So I know it's not going to be sliding all over the place. I did it to both server PSUs. Obviously I need to do a lot of cable management. This is a complete disaster and I'm not really proud of it. This guy right here, actually, I need an extension for this one because that's pulling a little tighter than I want. So okay, let's throw this extension in. All right, now that extension's on. So as you guys can see, these wires are pretty much everywhere. I'm gonna deal with this for the time being until I get some Velcro straps. I actually need to order those so I could do way better cable management on this. All right, so let's get this one back up and running, and then we will disassemble this. This is actually the bottom to the frame that I just relieved that motherboard and rig from. So I'll just leave that there for now until I can actually put it back together. But yeah, let's turn this thing on, see what we get. Hopefully everything works fine. All right, half the cards came on. All right, so I just put the screen back on. As you can see, this is starting back up. So nice. I actually like that. It looks really clean. That's perfect. Now all I gotta do is get some cable management together on all these rigs, but as you know, now that I just did this, I'm gonna have to take off all these motherboards and do the same thing, mount them all the same way. All right, I guess the next point of attack is now we got to shut down this one and put this one up on that shelf. So let's get back into the phone, stop the miner, and go from there. All right, I think we're all set. It's been a few minutes. Shut that off. And shut that off. All right, so again, you guys will see this all disassembled and thrown up there in 3, 2, 1. There it is. Well, kinda. So I voted against ripping apart this today because I don't have another server PSU. I have another ZSX breakout board to run the actual motherboard, which is right here, and the wires and stuff for it, but I don't have another server PSU to put in place of this ATX one. So I'm gonna leave this Veta frame completely intact with all those cards, and I'm going to hang, as you can see, one just like that and the other 5, which makes 6 directly in front here. All right, there it is. Complete mess, but it's gonna work for the time being. So just gonna double check. I want to make sure all these PCIe connections are in, because obviously I was tugging on them a little bit to plug them all in, but I labeled them all and they're all back in the correct spots, so that's good. All right, yeah, let's get this going. Turn on server PSU, which does these 6 right here. I don't understand. This one needs a signal from the motherboard or something before it actually comes on, but it's fully powered because it did that last time. So I'll flip that on, start this, and as you can see, it comes on. I don't understand why, but that's how it is. So whatever, as long as it works, I'm happy. The screen that I have on that rig is not plugged in because I don't have an HDMI cord. I probably do somewhere, but I really don't have time to look for it right now. I just want to make sure this rig comes back online. So I am going to put a fan on the floor right here, just to pull in the air on the lower part of the rig. So I'm just going to plug this in over here, and we'll have that on high. And I'll do the same thing for right here in front of this one. So my logic behind this, the cold air coming in from these vents are actually rising at an angle because of the angle of the louvers, obviously, but those pulling out all the heat, it's literally just coming up at an angle. So the bottom cards, the only ones that are really getting cold air are the ones directly on the back side in front of the angled louvers. So like 5 of those cards are getting really good cold air. The rest are getting decent cold air, but I want to make sure that the airflow is coming down through here, and this is, I can feel the heat right now, so that's pretty cool. That's it, guys. Let's hope that this pans out and works well. And in the next video, I will seal the left side, the top, and the right side against the back wall, so this is 100%. And then, to be honest, I might also put a blocker on the front here, except for the bottom, just to make sure the air is forced to come out in front of here and here. If I block the path in the middle, it literally just leaves an air gap between the cards on the right and the left, but it forces the cold air coming in the middle out the left and the right. So that's my logic behind that. All right, so maybe I'm not putting those fans there. Right before I left, I noticed this rig rebooted, and that only rebooted as soon as I put this fan in front, which means the cooling air passing the rig is totally fine, and I need to just leave it alone, not put any of these fans in place. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ride it out for the night. I want to see how this works. If it works well, like I said, saves me some money and less fans I have to deal with, you know, less things breaking down. So that's obviously a good thing. But as always, guys, I appreciate you all for watching. Please stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.